Hey, so we're going to try this without the overhead light because the way it's doing the shadows, and without opening the blind because the brightness just is not functional. I haven't done my coffee yet, so you're going to have to put up with that. If I could bring this over here so that you could see me do my coffee, I would, but without the little tripod-y thing, that's where I can put my camera. Anyway, so I thought we could talk a bit about intentional. That's the word of the day, intentional. Not quite the same thing as deliberate. Close, but not quite the same thing. So there's a YouTube channel I like that I'm not going to name yet. I might name him later. I might give you a link to him because I do like him. He hasn't shared that much personal information, but there is personal information shared, and from that, he's somebody who thought they were going to be an actor, at least a voice actor. He's got that professional voice down perfect, where I talk really, really considerate. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. He's got that voice, that announcer voice, and half of his videos are tagged as being in Idaho. And he talks about getting stranded by the pandemic. And he talks about the fact that his brother makes a living playing in bars and clubs, and right now his brother's not making a living, and we need to help out the artists and the musicians. I like his website, or his YouTube, I do. But yesterday he posted up a video that was wrong. And I hate it when people who have good information, who I like, post something that's wrong. This is my potato flour. So check this out. We did the juicer trick. Can you see that? That's all potato flour. It's like a quart jar's worth of potato flour drying right now. And it's almost dry. It takes 3 to 4 days. I will show you how to do the juicer trick at some point. Probably with sweet potatoes. Just because that's cool. Anyway, I was getting a coffee cup. So he posted his video. And his video was on he pre-treats his cold sores and how he pre-treats his cold sores because he went through hell with cold sores for a while. And he learned this thing that works, which is St. John's wort, he says. And then he shows a plant. And he calls it St. John's wort. You know I do that whole pharmacophagy thing, right? Plants as medicine. Then he talks about the properties of St. John's wort and why St. John's wort works for his cold sores. And then I turn the video off. And I go to Google. And I pull up images of St. John's wort because the plant he showed was not the plant I know of as St. John's wort. And I do some digging because I'm not going to say he's wrong until I've proven myself because, I have self-doubts. And I know he's wrong. And it doesn't matter why he's wrong. He's wrong. And then I get to thinking about cold sores. And the fact that he's totally missed the boat on what triggers cold sores. So he talks about cold sores are triggered by stress, and cold sores are triggered by physical stress, emotional stress, and environmental stress. Ah! I forgot to put my coffee cup in. Cold sores are triggered by stress. That's correct. That's correct. And cold sores are a virus that lives in your nerves in here, and 85% of Americans have them, or at least they have the virus. 85% of Americans don't have cold sores because they don't get triggered. Because in order for stress to trigger your cold sores, you have to be lysine deficient. And if you're not lysine deficient, your cold sores aren't going to trigger. That's the facts. If you go through a vegan phase, you're going to have cold sores. If you go through a vegan phase as a teenager, you're definitely going to have cold sores, and you're going to have cold sores until you're about 30, because it takes your body that long to build back up. Okay. So if you get cold sores regularly, go to the health food store and get a bottle of Lysine and get some Lysine lip balm. Okay? Put the lip balm on every time you think you're having a problem. Actually, just use lip balm all the time. And take the Lysine pills. Okay? Because the antiviral properties in St. John's wort are so minute that they're not doing what you think they're doing. All the St. John's wort that he's taking is acting as an antidepressant and cutting his stress, thus cutting his triggers. That's what it's doing. So advising somebody to take St. John's wort for cold sores is not valid. So, that comes to intentional. Your diet should be intentional. There was a thing a while back, I don't remember her name, all of a sudden I had it 5 minutes ago, about food as pharmacy. Only works so far, by the way. Okay, I don't have enough creamer in my coffee, but my coffee cup is full because I used the smaller coffee cup. So now I have to slurp out coffee, or I have to pour out coffee, which would be a sin, in order to put more creamer in. Good enough. The other trick is I haven't stirred it yet, so I'm slurping off black coffee with a faint orange flavor because I put some of my orange coffee liqueur stuff, or orange stuff in. Food as pharmacy. Food as pharmacy is great when you have a headache and you try some caffeine. That's great. That's medical. Food as pharmacy is great when your gums are bleeding all the time and you boost your vitamin C content deliberately. Go buy 10 pounds of oranges and eat the damn things. Potatoes have more bioavailable vitamin C than oranges do, just for the record. Food as pharmacy is great when you're having B-complex anemias or cold sores and you go and buy some liver or some smoked baby clams and you overdose on the shit. Food as pharmacy does not work when you're microdosing. Okay? Because the human body is too big and too complex. And the systems are too complex. And 90% of the advice out there doesn't understand the complexity of the system. The first example is vitamin A does not digest without vitamin D. Vitamin D does not process without vitamin A. So if you're vitamin D deficient, eat some squash. Eat some sweet potatoes. Get some vitamin A into your system. If you're vitamin A deficient, get some vitamin D into your system. Okay? B-complex vitamins. Taking a single B-complex, or B vitamin, B6, does nothing if you don't have the rest of the complex in your system. Look at my. Iron and vitamin C. If you're iron deficient, you're vitamin C deficient. It might not be pegging on the test because vitamin C, from the point you eat vitamin C, it's only in your system for 12 to 18 hours. So if you have something that's fortified with vitamin C for breakfast and you go in and get your blood workup done, if you have something that's fortified with vitamin C for dinner and you go in and get your blood workup done, your vitamin C shows fine. But it's completely possible that you're zeroing for half the day. And that half the day is when your body's trying to process the iron it ate earlier. They're all intertwined. And people look to herbs and they say, what did they used to do? And my standard response is they used to die in great numbers by the age of 30. They're not the medicine you think they are. Ginkgo biloba. Nah, we'll go with ginkgo. Ginkgo tree, ginkgo. Became this big thing for memory enhancement. And everybody's, oh, I'm doing ginkgo for memory enhancement. And I bought this tea. It takes 35 pounds of dried leaf. 35 pounds of dried ginkgo leaf to make one ginkgo pill. You ain't drinking enough tea to make a difference. Okay? There are herbs, there are plants like coffee, caffeine, cola, like marijuana, like cocaine, like heroin, that you don't have to worry about the volume of to get the dose. Okay? A good example is heroin, is opiates. When you take 5 opiate poppy seeds, 5, and you put them in a cup of hot water, 5 seeds, broken, the smell of that water is enough to get you lightly high. Taking 2 sips of that water will cause you to sleep for a day. Just sleep. That's what the Victorians did. The whole opium dens, they just went in and slept for a day with nice dreams. I've never understood that addiction. I've never understood sleep-based addictions, because that's all you're doing. I'm going to get high on Benadryl. No, you're not. You're going to fall asleep. Well, yeah, but it was a good high. No, it wasn't. You fell asleep and you drooled. The herbs and plants that make good Granny Witch, over-the-counter, easily accessible medicines. Corn silk, parsley, green carrot tops. You grow an entire parsley plant and I can make you a compound. I can easily make you a compound that can wean somebody off of opiates without going through withdrawals. I can wean somebody off of alcohol without going through withdrawals, because it blocks the withdrawal center of the brain. Okay, now your body's still going to be shocky and you're still going to have problems, but you're not going through withdrawals. And that's from parsley. And no, don't go get green parsley in the store and try it, because you need the entire plant. You take the entire plant, you mulch the entire plant. That's roots. The aerial roots, which are the fine roots, are needed. And the greens, and the seeds, and the flowers. The entire plant. Okay? You mulch that up. You ferment it. You run it through a distillery. Then you settle out the waste. It's the waste that does the active job. You can do the same kind of process with foxglove, the entire plant. Foxglove's heart medication, if you didn't know. But if you do that with the entire plant, the finished settle out is a lobotomy pill. It causes damage to the brain in the aggressive center of the brain. They used to give it to women if their husbands complained that they were too upset about things. It was a treatment for hysteria. It fries the aggression center of the brain. It's really good for bad dogs. Okay? Junkyard dogs. They become puppies. They become so happy. They're so happy and friendly. And then their owner gets rid of them and gets another junkyard dog. Hard lesson learned. I'm going to try to take a drink of this too full coffee again. Intentional. Intentional is when you pay attention to the fronts of my shins are starting to get dry and powdery, which means I'm short on my B-complex vitamins, which means I need to eat some smoked baby clams, because smoked baby clams and smoked baby oysters have the stomachs intact in the can, and that has huge amounts of bioavailable B-complex vitamins and iron. Eating intentional is knowing that the husband is chronically short on vitamin D because his body doesn't process sunlight, and feeding him as much orange vegetables as I can so that he gets the maximum amount of sunlight effectiveness. being intentional. Being intentional is watching a video where somebody gets something wrong and taking a minute to make damn certain you're right instead of just saying you're right. You know? Anyway, my coffee's done. It's ready to drink. I'm going to drink it. I'm going to make another cup of coffee in about 3 minutes. In all honesty. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.